Hey everybody, welcome to my creepy basement. I got to start off today's video. I got to let you know two very important things. One, tomorrow you guys are going to have a pop quiz in this class, all right? Pop quiz tomorrow, and it's going to be on the stuff that's in this video, all right? Don't forget, pop quiz tomorrow on the stuff that's in today's video. That's number one. Number two, I don't really understand how pop quizzes work. All right, so celebration of knowledge tomorrow. So for this video, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be going over the six items that were in the reading journal for Fahrenheit 451, pages 32 through 38. These were a little bit more in depth. We slowed down a little bit for this portion of the text. It's because it's a pretty important section of the novel. So we'll take a look at what you put down. Take a look at listen to what I think the some good possibilities for answers are. Maybe you want to make some updates on your stuff, and tomorrow word on the street is celebration of knowledge. So let's get started with the first one. First one says, as the firemen arrive, they grab the woman, even though she was not trying to escape. They ask her where the books are, even though they already know, and they chop down doors which are unlocked. Why do they do these things? And then I mentioned that you should check out the paragraph on page 36 that begins, the sight of it rushed the men out and down away. So let's do that. I'm on page 36. The sight of it rushed the men out and down away from the house. Captain Beatty, keeping his dignity, backed slowly through the front door, his pink face burnt and shiny from 1,000 fires and night excitements. God, thought Montague, how true. Always at night the alarm comes, never by day. Is it because the fire is prettier by night? More spectacle? A better show? And boom, there you go. There's your answer. It's a better show. Historically speaking, there was a guy named Vlad the Impaler. He was a real guy, and Bram Stoker based the character of Dracula, probably heard of him, off of this guy, Vlad the Impaler. And it turns out Vlad the Impaler wasn't a particularly nice fella, but in his defense, if your mom is going to name you Vlad the Impaler, I think you're going to have limited futures. But so what Vlad the Impaler did is he impaled the bodies of his enemies and then stuck them in the ground around. You know how some people have those reflectors on the sides of the road so the plow doesn't hit their mailbox? It's like that, but horrible. But what Vlad was trying to do is put on a very scary show. What the firemen in this novel are trying to do is make their show a little more scary too. For number two, it said, I'm sure you've determined the importance of this fire call passage as being essential to our understanding of Guy Montag. How is he changing, and what or who is causing this change? Well, I think it's pretty clear on how he's changing. If you look at the very first sentence of the novel, it was a pleasure to burn. I don't know if he's got some questions at this point. All right, he's at least saying, well, why am I enjoying? What exactly am I enjoying about this? Now, and I think in terms of who is causing it, I think the influence of Clarice McClellan. I think that's a solid answer. However, he is certainly also responding to the inner conflict that's bubbling up within himself. Like, remember one of those things I told you to put in your back pocket? The fact that when he was a kid and the power outage and it was dark and his mom, they just chatted because there was no electricity. So there's always been like a small piece of him that has felt this way, and maybe now it's just grown. But there's a lot of flexibilities for answer there. But I think saying Clarice is responsible is more than fair. Probably the best answer. But if you wanted to argue that it's a little bit of himself too, I don't think you're wrong. Then for number three, to help you visualize the scene, Bradbury compares books to birds. On page 34, we got a book like a white pigeon in his hands, wings fluttering, a page hung open and it was like a snowy feather. The magazines fell like slaughtered birds. So what characteristics do birds and books have in common? Caw! It's just actually a book. Did you think that there was a bird in my basement? Caw! Special effects department, newly added, because we saved so much. We fired props. By the way, this is World War Z by Max Brooks, much better than the movie. This is a ton of fun. I can't recommend it enough. I'm pretty sure a school library has it. So besides having some physical similarities, which aren't all that, they're kind of cool for visualization, but more importantly, do you know this annoying song? I'm like a bird, I want to fly away. It's a song about like freedom. I'm sorry, I know I can't sing, but I keep on doing it anyway. I'm only throwing it in there to try to maintain your attention. But in that song, it's about gaining one's freedom. I'm sure you've probably heard the phrase "free as a bird." So what I want you to keep an eye out for is this idea of a book being a type of freedom. All right, we're going to see that develop throughout the novel. This woman in this fire call, she was not allowed. She was not free to have her books. And that's just one of the examples of how books equal freedom in this novel. All right, let's check out number 4. Number 4 says in the first paragraph of page 35, the book claims that Montag's hand, acting with a brain of its own, stole a book. We know that hands do not actually have brains of their own, so what are we to infer from this idea? All right, so we're going to insist that we live in a world where your hand cannot become... It's okay, it's just thread. And fired the props department, hired a special effects department. Amazing work, I'm sure you agree. Well, that's a super smooth transition to actually reading the quote from the text. I'll do that now. Montag had done nothing. His hand had done it all. His hand, with a brain of its own, with a conscience and a curiosity in each trembling finger, had turned thief. Now it plunged the book back under his arm, pressed it tight to sweating armpit, rushed out empty with a magician's flourish. Look here, innocent, look! So, I think what we're supposed to get out of that is there is some part of Montag, and I don't mean like, this part. I mean a part in here or a part in here that wants to know more about books, okay? And he's blaming his hand because I don't know, maybe it's too difficult for him to admit, but he's certainly conflicted these days, so that may have something to do with it too. And then for number 5, it says on page 36, things get really tense. What happens that builds tension and a sense of urgency? I will give you exactly 5 seconds to figure this out. Do you feel that? Do you feel that rising panic? You know what that's from? That's from giving you a countdown. Countdowns cause, see? It creates tension, doesn't it? That countdown created some tension. That's the answer. And then finally, for number 6, it says on page 37 and 38, as the firemen drive back to the station, we notice that Captain Beatty knew the quote that the woman spoke as they entered the house. Though Captain Beatty explains it as being full of bits and pieces, what can we infer about Captain Beatty? Well, he seems to have read, which is... But he hates... He believes in what he's doing. So how does he get this knowledge of books if he hates them? I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe it's some sort of training thing. Maybe, did you know that like the Amish, they get to a certain age and then, I guess they can go like, now go out and live in the world that isn't Amish, and then come back. And when people do come back, they say, "Wow, I have a greater appreciation for the world, and I like being Amish. I'm staying Amish." But sometimes they're like, "No, I'm going to stay here. There's more to do in Pennsylvania, it turns out." I don't know. Maybe it's a situation like that, but the guy seems to know some stuff that one would only get from books, and I'm just saying it's if nothing else, it's suspicious. But he seems to have read. All right, I think that's going to be it for today. Make sure you keep all this stuff updated, because you never know when you're going to have a pop quiz on this kind of stuff, especially tomorrow. All right, I'm going to get out of here. The basement's cold. See ya.